Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and Brian Wisenhunt and Jamie Alexander are here representing the Museum of the Southwest. And we've been talking about their connection to it, and then we've been talking about some of the delightful aspects of the museum as a whole. And now I want us to talk a little bit about some of the programs and some of the ones that you're most excited about.
Well, I think the important thing for people to remember whenever they're thinking about the Museum in the Southwest is there's always something different going on. I think sometimes people feel like they've been to the museum and it's checked off their list and they don't need to come back, but we always have special exhibitions at the museum of different artists in addition to our permanent collection. And right now we have an installation of the Hogan collection, which is part of the bedrock of our art collection, as well as an exhibition of prints by Woody Crumbo, which also are drawn from our collection. And those are integrated with some Native American artifacts and baskets that really help to enliven the experience. And likewise at the Children's Museum and the Planetarium, we always have different shows and different experiences for people to have when they come to the museum. So I think it's something that people can enjoy returning to and finding and discovering something new. And that's really what our mission and our program is all about, is discovery. So.
And that's it in a nutshell, is the discovery. But you know, what you just said is saying that the museum isn't your grandfather's museum.
Absolutely
and
not.
It's been brought into the modern age, interactive, changing. I can remember when I used to go to museums as a little tiny child, and we'd troop town after town after town, and it'd just be a dusty, dark collection that never changed unless they found one more arrowhead or one more belt buckle or one more spur, and you never did really get the connections, but you make it come alive in so many ways. And so talk about how the museum scene has changed over the years, and particularly since you've begun your career.
Well, my background is in museum education, and that's where I started, and that's kind of what I still am. I consider myself an educator, and I feel like my role and the role of everyone who works at the museum, from security to the curator, is helping people connect and make a connection with the works of art, with the Children's Museum exhibition, and with the planetarium and the programs we do there. So I think that has changed in the last 10 or 20 years, as far as museums used to be a place where you just went and you looked at things and you were expected to know about them or to understand just from looking at some objects.
You just kind of shuffle through.
Right. And now I think that the expectation of visitors and the expectation of the museums is there's an important experience that happens. And that's what I hope that the Museum of the Southwest can continue to do and continue to grow, is to foster that experience so that when people come, they feel like that they've made a connection in some way with the objects and with the space and with the people and everything that's a part of the institution. So.
And I had a grandmother talk about the museum one day, and she said, "Oh, that was the most wonderful experience last summer when we took our granddaughters to see it." And I said, "Well, are you going to go back this year?" And she said, "No, we've seen it." And I said, No, you've got to go back, because it's so totally different.
It's the same place every institution I've worked at. You know, they've all struggled with the idea that the museum is always the same, and it's not. It's always different. Even if you were there
a month ago.
Yeah, last week. You know, there's something that's going to have changed as far as what's on view or what there is to do. So it's not something that you can just do once, because it's ever changing.
Yeah.
So.
And the museum costs money, and so we need to take advantage of that. And you were saying, just like some of our West Texans take it for granted about the sunset,
right,
because it's just always been there. Well, sometimes we take our museums and the sophistication of our museums for granted, and really don't take advantage of all they have to offer. The other thing is that the museum is a really good bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
And so talk a little bit about how much it costs to go to view it, how much if you're a student, and so on.
Well, the art museum is always free, so I think that that's very important. So that's a free and available to everyone in the community, regardless of how much money you've got in your wallet. You can come to the art museum and enjoy the exhibitions and collection there. There's a small charge for the planetarium for shows and also for the children's museum, but we have very affordable memberships. Our individual memberships start at $40, and for families it's $60, and both of those afford the members the opportunity to really enjoy the children's museum, the planetarium, and events at the art museum for practically nothing.
And the big thing is they get notification of
absolutely
all these things that are changing, and so that's just pennies for a year's membership.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things that I always want to get out of the way is how that's one small way to support it, but a big way then to have a year's worth of great entertainment, education, discovery, and so on. Well, and I know that the Blakemore Planetarium, ever since it has been established, has been one of the great draws. But talk about some of the other programs and services.
Well, right now we have several different movies in the Blakemore Planetarium that we're showing, and those are always changing, and you can look at the museum website to get the schedule for those. At the Children's Museum, we have an exhibition called Torn from Home, and it is about the refugee experience of children around the world. It's a tough topic, but it's handled very well in the exhibition, and there's some interactive elements that are there. And then at the Art Museum, in addition to the permanent collection, we have this fantastic exhibition that's on view through the end of August that's miniature paintings, and they are just about this big and painted with brushes that look like there's just a single hair on them. And we actually have magnifying glasses that you can take through the exhibition, so you can really look at the detail that is in these really tiny paintings. And then of course we have the lawn concerts that are going on through the first week of August, and we're all gearing up for September Fest, which is the weekend after Labor Day. And as you said, you have some guests coming on that are going to talk more about that.
And one of the nice things about something like September Fest is it's really become a tradition, and so people look forward to it, and you have the same core people, but you also gather new people each year, and so that's a really nice aspect of something like September Fest. So you've got your traditional things, you're constantly bringing in new things, you've got traveling exhibits, and you've got static exhibits, because you have a large inventory, a huge storage area, so that you can revolve exhibits at all times. And we're going to have to close out our program, but we're going to ask them to come back, because we've got so much more that you need to know about the Museum of the Southwest, and you need to support it. We'll see you next week with another program.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.